Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Retreat series, Dhamma talk number 38. What the Buddhas taught is Four Noble Truth. Whether this is the latest Buddha Gautama, or any other Buddha before him, or many uncountable Buddhas before this Buddha Gautama. Every Buddha's what they taught is this Four Noble Truth. This is the only Dhamma. So they are all the same. In terms of contents, the same. The meaning, the same. The essence, the same. Maybe different the way it presents, or based on the culture, whatever the setting is. But the Buddha Dhamma is Four Noble Truth. Any and all Buddhas. These Four Noble Truths disappear from the worlds or living beings. And only once in a, so to speak, a blue moon, once in a while, whenever a Buddha arises, these Four Noble Truths arises again. In time of practice is Satipatthana Vipassana. And people has an opportunity to practice for a few thousand years. And for this period while we are in, it is said it will last for about 5,000 years. We have already gone halfway through, over 2,500. And after that, there will be no more Buddhism. Maybe the word Buddhism will be there, but its truth, its essence, will be gone. And people will not have an opportunity to practice, which means people will not have a chance to escape from this cycle of birth and death for a long, many worlds system. And then another Buddha arises, and we had a chance again for a short period of time. So this is how the system goes. And these things, of course, you can see in this one, it's one of the sutra. Okay? But it is about a Buddha. It sounds like this. Suti Sata. Suti Sata Sa. Okay, that is how it sounds like to me, Buddha. There was many Buddhas before the Buddha Gautama. He was arising, in other words, that's a period he was teaching. And his right-hand disciple is Abusita. Okay. Not Abu, Adipura. Okay. Adipura. Something like Shansariputra in the time of Buddha Gautama. That right-hand disciple, his most senior disciple, is called Adipura. Okay. Then, so those kind of little things shows that there are many Buddhas before this Buddha. Once in a while it arises In some wall system it arose. In some wall system, zero, there's nothing, no Buddha. And from those sutra or scripture, we come to understand how the system works from here and from there. So this one, the story goes like this. At that time, that Buddha was there and his right-hand disciple, they are preaching the Buddha's the Four Noble Truth. And one day, a Dibura report to the Buddha. At one time, he happened to mention, while in one of the conversation, that he can preach 10 world system. And so 10,000 world system. In other words, 10,000 galaxy at the same time. So I happen to talk in a conversation that I said I can teach Buddha Dhamma to 10,000 galaxy system. Because of that, please permit me, because of that statement, please permit me to teach in such a fashion. And the Buddha looked at it and he said, okay, you may. The Buddha allowed him. So this Arahat, Dibura, he went to one of the Brahmin Ram, and from that Brahmin Ram he preached. When he said he preached, at that moment his teaching was heard from the 10,000 galaxy. It is not that everybody heard. Everybody who is interested in the Buddha's teaching, Buddha's Dhamma, everybody who is inclined or practicing the Buddha's Dhamma, anybody related to, whether human or Deva or Brahma, they can hear it as if it is being preaching in front of them. So these are the little stories or events that is in the scripture. From those things we can understand the nature, how the Buddhas arises, passed away, and how the mental power, the mind mental power, how strong they are. Enlightenment and mental power are two different things. Enlightenment is one thing. Enlightenment is elimination of all suffering and escape from the rounds of rebirth. These kind of mental power, supernormal power, that's nothing to do with enlightenment. That is to do with abhinyan. Abhinyan is one has to master all the jhanic states. The first level, every jhanic state, one there is. And then second stages, you have to practice to achieve these kind of things. And these are the mental powers. And from those little teachings or the written, recorded in the scripture, we come to understand these kind of different nature, how the minds work. And in here, this Adibura can preach the Buddha Dhamma that can be heard from 10,000 galaxy instantly. There's a lot more details in the scriptures, of course, and of that event, but we won't go to it. And in here, what he taught in brief, in gist, it's contained 2 verses. What he put. And these 2 verses, the first verse is said, of course, we are practicing pure vipassana or satipatthana vipassana. And when one practices that, in the first verse, when one is practicing to escape from the rounds of rebirth, one must apply effort in the first part. Okay? One must apply effort. But if the effort is not enough, one will become lazy, or one would even become depressed. Okay, I'm just bringing my own words in here what the verse says. Apply effort. If the effort is not enough, one will become lazy or even to the point of become depressed or disinterested in this practice. And if so, one must increase the effort. In other words, double down, triple down the effort. One must increase your effort. Do the effort so that you overcome that states of laziness and states of depression or disinterested in Dhamma. And not only that, one must keep on applying and sustaining the effort till one has reached the final goal. That's the first verse. So in here, how effort is emphasized, how important it is. It is in a brief state. If you look at that statement, okay, that was taught about many, many Buddhas ago. In one line in this Buddha Dhamma and the Buddha Gautama, okay, everybody knows this one sentence or phrase: strive with diligence. That's it. The commonality I'm showing. Strive with diligence, one line. And all that this Adipura taught is strive with diligence. But he split down into stages, how effort must be put. So based on that, I would like to interject here, if one doesn't have enough effort, okay, how to produce effort, how to increase effort, how to sustain effort. And here again too, there are many different ways it has been set down by our elders how to do it. The first one is, if one is not applying not much effort, and if one needs to, what it is reflect upon the misery. Reflect upon the misery of four woeful state in the scripture. What it is four woeful state is, one is the hell realm, another one is the Trichana, animals realm, and the third one is hungry ghost realm, and the fourth one is demonic realm. Those are the four realms. And look at the misery in those states. Okay, what is hell? Hell is a place where there is a constant state of suffering. That's it. There is no moment, no point for happiness or pleasure or comfort. Constantly a state of suffering. That is hell. And also Tricha, animals and birds. That realm, if you look at it, okay, they were born with pain and suffering, and as they are alive, they are always struggling. Okay, the main effort is struggling to survive, survival, constant state and the state of fear or danger or trouble, and also always struggling and has to apply constant effort to have food, for the food. The struggle for existence, struggle for food. Every time if you look at it, they are always roaming about, going around for food. And also they are always in a state of struggle, danger, and suffering. For what? For the pleasure that produces procreation. They are always fighting, killing each other, who is the top guy, just for that little sense pleasure that is followed by procreation. In other words, that is a struggle animals all the time for their survival, for the food, and for, so to speak, sex, procreation. Other than that, they don't have much, any other constant state of suffering. And the same thing with the hungry ghost ram. Hungry ghost rams are the living beings that they have too much attachment to the previous life, especially the human life. In the human life, they have great attachment to things, materials, house, property, people, okay, many things. That attachment is so strong, when they pass away, they cannot totally let go of this life that they has left. So they have somewhat connection to it, but at the same time, they can't do much. They are aware of that past life connection, and they are always in a state of lack. State of lack means they don't have enough food to eat all the time. They have no shelter, they have no clothes, hardly any clothes. And they are always in the lamentation and torture from the states of the previous life because of the attachment, that connection, that memory is intact. And they are trying to reach this previous life relative or whatever, and they just can't. States of constant suffering. And demonic realm. Demonic realms these are the living beings with some sort of a power. Okay, they can, but all their power are applied only for destructive purpose. And they are always in a state of struggle, one against the other, and all the time. Those are the 4 states. So if you are a Buddhist and if you believe in these kind of things deeply, okay, reflect it deeply, and when you reflect it, you begin to feel that suffering. You begin to have fear that you will be in those kind of a constant state of suffering. And that fear will drive you to exert more effort in your practice. That's one. So, but let's say, if you do not cannot put your mindset into those kind of states. Yeah, I understand, but it doesn't really affect me this way. If that's the case, I'll give you one idea that we can all experience or share or can understand. Let's say there's in a school, high school, there's a kid. It's always being bullied, okay? Everybody in the class, at school, whatsoever is bully. And the class is bullied. Nowadays, it's even on the telephone and electronic media, bully to the point of what happened. That kid's at school, he's bullied. When he goes home, he's constantly struggle with the phone and the bullying. And that bullying, states of being bullied is in that mind all the time. Even at home, when you come home, you might not talk to your parents, but that fear is in there. And finally, it comes to a point of he or she doesn't want to even go to school. That is the constant state of suffering. Okay? That one, we can understand, we can sympathize. Not only that, if you try something, try to do in such a way you can even feel the pain of that child that is being bullied, and you can really understand what suffering is. When that suffering is being really vividly expressed in your mind, you will become afraid of it. Somewhat like that kind of a state of suffering will fall on me if I keep on this cycle of birth and death. And that fear would make you to produce more effort in your practice. So this is one example, I just throw it in. You may look for something that you can really felt the pain and suffering. And if you reflect upon it, your effort to produce effort will increase. That's number one. Okay. Number two, simply put, is one must know the benefit of the practice. If you know the benefits, okay, if you understand the benefits, and again to truly understand the benefit, if you understand the benefit, one will produce more effort. In other words, what is the benefit? The benefit is trying to arouse, okay, trying to arouse your mind. In other words, trying to produce chanda, desire, to reach nibbana, to reach the end of all suffering. Because that's the final goal, final benefit at nibbana, the end of all suffering. And you have to arouse your mind so that you really have a desire to attain that state. And to be able to attain that state, you must understand the benefits. So if you look at 1 and 2, number 1, in a modern language, it's a big stick. You must be afraid of the big stick. Number 2 is a carrot. You must really want a carrot as if a rabbit would like to have a carrot. That kind of state. So you can simulate, produce, think, feel, experience those sticks or the carrots. And if you can evoke that, then your effort will truly increase in the practice. That's the second point, how to increase your practice. Okay. Of course, number three is you have to put in such a way, I am practicing this Satipatthana Vipassana. And this Satipatthana Vipassana is the method, the path that every Buddha has practiced. They discover themselves, they practice, they benefit, and then of course they turn around and teach. And all the arahata is people who has attained total liberation from the cycle of birth and death. And here I am walking on the same path, I am walking on the same road as the previous Buddhas and Arahats had walked. This is a very noble road. This is a precious road. And I will walk on it with respect and with seriousness. That is the kind of attitude. But you have to put it in such a way, I am walking on the same road as the Buddhas and Arahats had walked. Okay. So, which one or 2 or 3, whichever would be more effective for you, use that. It is not that you have to use everything. What touches you, that is what is important. And the fourth one is, all of you are the serious practitioner and you have gone to retreats and things like that. And especially nowadays in the retreats, we call it retreats. In the olden day, a monk might go to the forest, a nearby forest, not far away from the village, because she has to depend on the support of the villagers for food and so on. Nowadays, retreat means in the modern day is we go to the retreat center, and in a retreat center they prepare the best that they could to support you in every way so that you do not have to do anything except apply all effort and time to your practice. In other words, that's a support group. Because of the support group, you can practice that way, whether in the forest or whether in a monastery or whether you are in a retreat center. So these people are supporting. The reason they are supporting is they really want to help people who are striving to escape from these rounds of rebirth. And also, of course, they have a belief system. And also this belief is not blind belief, it's based on cause and effect. If they support, if they help that, they have great karma, and then their life will be also rising and rising eventually to the point of one day they become the practitioner, serious practitioner. That is their motive. That is their motive. That is their desire. With that desire, they donate, they help, they look after you. And because of that, you can practice without any worry. For that, you need to express gratitude to those people who are helping you so that you can practice with ease. And of course, the modern ways, oh, thank you very much, I really appreciate it. That's the way, normal, our everyday life. Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. But in a Buddhist way, it's not. If you truly want to express your gratitude, because it is not only them that they believe. If they help out, they get great karma. If they help out to people who are in very high moral ground and who are practicing in a high mental attainment, their karma, the same amount of action that they do, you can multiply by 10 times. They get greater karma. That is the fact. And they know that, and you know that. So the way to do is you have to put a lot of effort so that you can grow, and you can grow and progress in your practice and insight and experience. Because the more you progress, the greater the benefit, the greater the great karma these people will get. And that is how you can show your gratitude towards them. So that is number 4. If your effort is little low and down, reflect the gratitude towards the people who are supporting you. It's number 5. Okay, the number 5 point, how to produce is. Number 5 branch is, think of that in terms of inheritance. Okay, the children, okay, we have heard many times, there are children and rich parents, and there's some children, the parent decided they deserve it, they lived it. Some people, they decided this guy is good for nothing, they cut off from the inheritance. Why? Because there's a certain quality that the parent decided deserve their inheritance or not. That is the way, the general trend of how inheritance work. And now we are talking about Buddha. So, Buddha way of inheritance is, if you look at the story, the Buddha had a son before he became a Buddha. He was a prince. His name is Rahula. And the Buddha went to the forest for 6 years, practiced. After that, he came back a year after he became enlightened, on the 7th year or 8th year, somewhere around there. And then he came back to his palace to teach Dhamma to all his relatives, parents, and everyone. At that time, his ex-wife, or wife, whatever you like to call it, and so tell the son, that is your father, go and ask for inheritance. And what she meant was inheritance is, this Buddha Gautama was the prince, and he is the heir to the kingdom, the country. So it will be the kingdom that the wives, okay, his wife want the son to get it. So he went there and asked for inheritance. Okay, Buddha Gautama, please give me your inheritance. Okay, I'll get it. And then what he did was he took the kid Rahula to the monastery, and he shaved his head, put the robes on, and teach Dhamma. That's the inheritance, what the Buddha gives. That is the highest inheritance that one can give. So in here, right now, all of us has an opportunity for us to receive the inheritance that the Buddha gave to his son, Rahula. Dhamma, the practice, the Four Noble Truth, Vipassana. We have it right in front of us, right in our hand. We have the inheritance in front of us. We have to behave in such a way that we deserve that inheritance. How? By practicing, putting diligently the effort. That is number 5. How to evoke more effort out of yourself. And number 6, this one is one need to know about the stories of Buddha. Stories of Buddha. Since the moment, our Buddha Gautama, the first time he was a hermit at the time of Dipankara Buddha. He wished that one day he will become a Buddha. And since then, for many, many world cycles, he practiced, and fulfilled his perfection, parami. And in there are lots of story about how much he put effort to go through these up and downs of life in those periods. So, if you know those stories, reflect upon those stories, how much Buddha has put effort to attain this Buddhahood, and those stories would evoke more mental state volition to apply more energy and effort to your practice. So that is number 6. Number 7. Number 7 is for a type of people. Some people, I'm a British, I'm very proud of it. I'm American, I'm very proud of it. And in Britain too, I'm a Scots, I'm proud of it. I'm Welsh, and so on. They belong to a certain thing, a certain clan, a certain class, and they are quite proud of it. And you might be one of those who might be proud to belong to something, somewhere, and that pride can really push you to do farther, push you farther. And if that's the case, you think this way. Our Buddha he came from a Sakya clan. Sakya clan, just like, Scottish or Welsh or Mackenzie clan or McGowan clan, and so on and so forth. So Sakya clan, that's where the Buddhas come from. And what it is now we are practicing what this Buddha has taught us. So we belong to this clan of Sakya. We are the clan member of Sakya. That is the way. And if you can evoke yourself through that process, use that. By using it, your effort will produce farther, and you will practice more and more. And the next one is, we already talked about, similar to reflect about what the Buddha's effort is. And also, there are many great disciples of Buddha, Arahats. The time of Buddha, and even 2,500 periods of time, there are many great monks and Arahats have passed by. Their practice, their efforts were documented. And if that is a little closer to you, Arahat who has been about 50 years ago or 100 years ago, and so on and so forth, that you can really get his biography and then connect it because it is closer in time. Use that and think about that great monk. Think about that so-called the great Arahat, because quite recent and close, you have his biography. and in details that can evoke more energy out of you. So that is another way of evoking more energy based on the arahats, the disciples, the effort that they has applied. So that is, I believe, number 8. Number 9 is that is you have heard all the time again and again and again, and that is everywhere. Number 9 and 10. Avoid lazy people. If you associated lazy people, okay, you will get you prone to get lazy more. Okay, lazy, don't think in the about of extreme sense lazy. Okay, just I'll put it more into our little field that we are in this room. There are some people who comes very regularly. Okay, some people they even come when they are sick. Some people come only when they cannot. That's one type. And some people they come when they want to come, and if there is something come up, okay, I think I'll skip it, and they put emphasis on something. That's another type. And there are some people, if there is nothing better to do, they come. But if there is something better to do, they don't come. That's another type. And another type, they come. When they come, what do? They come 15 minutes after the class starts. And then they go, as soon as the bell rings, they are the first one out of the room and gone. Those are the indication of what the practitioners, for the practitioner, what we call lazy. It is not that you crawl on your sofa and don't move and don't do anything. Not that kind of laziness. Laziness based on the level of a yogi. So those are the laziness. Those kind of people, avoid it. Some people will use all excuses not to come. So that is one. If you avoid them, you will have a lesser chance to become of that character or behavior. And of course, the other one is associated with the people who are industrious, who put a lot of effort. There's no need to say. Most of you have been to the retreats, and when in the retreats, when you see somebody really working hard, it automatically gives you more pumped up and energy, want to do more. Because you are associating. Associating is not sitting across the table over a cup of tea and talking. It's simply being around and the environment. The energy is rubbing on each other. That is being associating with the people who have effort or industrious. That kind of thing. That's number 10. And 11. 11 is it's all to yourself. The other one was environmental condition, all the examples of all around and stuff. This one is purely self. You must have a very strong determination. You must have a resolute mind. I will do it, and nothing can stop. That's 11 points. Those are the 11 points. Our great teachers, elders, and some from the Buddha has set us down how to produce more effort, how to double down your effort, how you triple down your effort when it is needed. So this one is a little pieces that I put it in based on the verse that the Adibura, the Arahat Adibura said, okay, apply effort. But if the effort is not enough, you'll become lazy and even depressed. At that time, increase your effort. And then you keep sustaining and maintaining the effort till you reach your goal, the first verse. And how do we do? Those are the 11 points that has been set us down by our elders and the Buddha. So now the second verse comes in. Second verse is destroy the mental defilement. Okay, why? Which has been with you all the time. Okay, this mental defilement, kilesa, is being with you for the infinite number of previous life is along with you. They are not just now. Many, many infinite number of previous life kilesa is with you, and they are right now with you. And our job is to destroy the kilesa. And of course, how do we destroy the kilesa? By applying great effort. So one must destroy the kilesa which has always been with you at all time. Okay? And then what you do was be mindful. Be mindful all the time. Be mindful in the time and escape. Try to escape from suffering. So that's the second part. Second part is it shows what you need to apply the effort. To need to apply is to destroy the mental defilements. And by how? By being mindful all the time. That is how you can destroy it. By being mindful all the time, every nanosecond you are mindful. If you are mindful, you will escape from suffering. So those are the two verses. So look at it. Number one is apply effort. Number two is be mindful. And the third one is you escape from suffering. In other words, you have the peace, liberation from suffering. Those are the two verses, the meaning of it. Okay? That is being taught by a deep Buddha. Many, 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 many Buddhas ago, the right-hand disciple, so to speak, taught from the Brahman world towards the 10,000 galaxy. It's just like broadcasting through the satellite. You can reach every part of the world, just same as that. But if you look at those three, and then let's listen to what we have one in Dhamma, okay, the Buddha's teaching, just 3 lines. What is that? Strive with diligence, live with mindfulness, and rejoice in heedfulness. 3 lines. And those 3 lines are right at the heading of our website. Strive with diligence. That's the first verse. Adibura said, for the effort. Live in mindfulness. In the second verse, Adibura said, be mindful all the time. And then rejoice in heedfulness. When you're heedful, there's no suffering. Okay? Escape from the suffering. The same. Many Buddhas ago, that's what is being taught. This Buddha, last one, that's what he taught. And many Buddhas to come, that's what they will be teaching. But we have just a sliver of time. In the infinite amount of time, we have opportunity to come to face with it, and we have a chance to practice. And this is a time. It is right in front of us. Let's make sure we deserve it. How? By applying as great an effort to apply to this practice so that we can be constantly mindful and escape from the rounds of rebirth. May all of you be heedful and experience peace and happiness as soon as possible. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Buddham bhajami.
Dhamma
Dhammam Pujemi. Sangham Pujemi. Thank you very much.